Hi and welcome to another week's episode of Fun with Whole Foods. Now this week's recipe was inspired by another blogger that I follow who was talking about rhubarb, and she pointed out that rhubarb is actually a vegetable and it's very low in carbohydrate and very low in sugar. So I was like, what? I need to go and check this out. And yeah, turns out she was right. And so rhubarb for me has been back on the menu just in time for the end of the British season of it. So what I've started doing is I've started canning my own stewed rhubarb. Look at that seal. That's awesome. Boom, held up just by the lid. And that is going to be the basis of our recipe today. This other blogger did a rhubarb crumble recipe and I love crumbles, but it was quite high in sugar, it was quite high in carbs, so I wanted to go away, have a think and reinvent the way that I was doing crumble. So we've ended up with a grain-free, gluten-free, very low sugar and low carb rhubarb crumble for you to enjoy with me today. So this was my effort of canning rhubarb yesterday. So I've got some leftover bits that have been in the fridge, but otherwise just pop open some canned rhubarb that you've stewed yourself, or stew some rhubarb. I just chop it up and chuck it in the oven at gas mark 6 and covered Pyrex dish for about 30 minutes until we can mash it easily with a fork. I don't add any water, I don't add any sugar. So do have a taste for your stewed rhubarb, and if you need it sweetened a bit, add a bit of whatever sweetener you choose to use. We're going to be making an individual crumble. So grab one of those little glass ramekins we've used for making cheesecakes in, or whatever you have that's roughly individual size. So put the amount of rhubarb that you desire. I like quite a fruity layer, but that's just what I had left up to use. In the bottom, you're going to want probably around 1/4 cup of stewed rhubarb, which equals roughly 1/2 cup of unstewed rhubarb. Yeah, I was looking at amounts the other day. Beautiful, I love rhubarb, it's so tart and yummy. It's just, oh, breath of fresh air. Especially in the winter when you're not getting much out of the garden. So we're then going to take our coconut flour, which kind of ruins the whole seasonal, non-imported like vibe to the dish, but whatever. And you want 2 tablespoons of coconut flour. Now I know that's a lot. I know you're thinking, oh, how many eggs are we adding to this? We aren't. Ground arrowroot, add 1 teaspoon. Yes, this is upping our carb count, but it also lends a better texture to the end dish. So it's worth it, do it. And a bit of ground ginger, just sort of a pinch, maybe 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon, depending on how gingery you like it. If you really need some sweetness, add a little bit of honey, a little bit of yacon syrup into the mixture. I personally don't need it. That sounds so pig-headed, but I'll add a bit of cream or yogurt when I eat this if I find that it needs a bit more sweetening, which I've been sugar-free for so long, my taste buds have changed completely. So then microwave it if you need to melt it. You want a tablespoon of coconut oil. Just add that in. Now I know coconut flour absorbs liquid like crazy, and this is nothing like the proportions of liquid to flour that you're used to using when you play with coconut flour. But there is a reason for this, and this is because we are aiming to get a crumbly mixture. So crumble to me has always been a bit like biscuit in texture. My My dad, when I grew up, taught me to make crumble by melting butter and syrup on the stovetop and then just adding flour until it ended up coming out in this texture, which if you rolled it out you could make very nice ginger nut type biscuits. So, you know, you want it to be like Play-Doh. You can squish it together, but equally you can rub it apart. This has come out a little bit damp, but I can't bother to faff about. So just crumble it over the top of your rhubarb. Don't worry about this being dry at the end and things like that, because it's going to be fine. As it cooks, the juice from the rhubarb will bubble up and it will absorb some of that liquid as well. And you can always add custard, cream, whatever floats your boat afterwards as well. So just rinse my hands and then you put it in the oven. Now be careful because this will scorch and burn the top really easily. So back gas up for about 10 minutes. I'm going to do my normal Blue Peter trick, and this is where we cross our fingers and yay, I timed it right. Here is the ones that I made earlier, and oh, very hot. So I would expect it bubbling up, but it hasn't. Well, it might have done in the oven. In fact, I can tell it has. Can you see that little mark there? Yay! But it's beautiful and golden on the top. And I'm going to go and have some cream with this now because it smells delicious and I'm hungry. So have a wonderful week. Do try out this recipe. You know what? Rhubarb's fantastic. Eat some rhubarb. Make a traditional rhubarb crumble with all the sugar in the world if you want. Just go, eat rhubarb, have something seasonal and enjoy it. I'll see you guys next week.